All right, folks, we get ready to boot it up out here one time for you. We right out here in Locust Road. Happy 4th of July to you, Atlanta.
Happy 4th.
Got my man Frank on my left and Big Time on the right. I got Atlanta Hunters and I got Dallas Cowboys. And Frank say he got something to say.
Frizz is in the building.
Man, it's going to be off the hook, folks.
I recall this time last year, I had
He can't
half a prediction right. I said the St. Louis Rams were going to go to the Super Bowl.
We're going to cut this music down, man, because I see he getting jump in this thing already.
I said the St. Louis Rams was going to win. I said this win the Super Bowl, but I was half right.
You're half right.
I don't know if I said but I know I picked them. Yeah, this time last year. And I'm going on record right now, Dallas Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
Dallas Cowboys will be in. You done already skipped over the division, and you already said they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Dallas Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl.
Well, let me say.
Well, that means. Hold on real quick, Big Time, because I know Big Time, when he get going, he don't stop. What you trying to say, if the Dallas Cowboys going to be in the Super Bowl, that means
the Falcons is not.
The Falcons is not.
Not.
That just ain't right. Big Time, what'd you say?
Oh my goodness, here we go again. Back at it one more time, talking that same noise that was being said last
He didn't say noise, right?
Yeah.
Wait. I'm a realistic Cowboys fan, and you know this.
Yeah.
Last year, I never picked them. This year, we have it. We have the defense. We have the playmakers. Now, the only thing I'm sketchable about is the coach. You give us a better coach, we got 2 years with this team.
Well, I mean, you guys did. That's why I just scratched my cord. Good. You guys did a great job last year, man. Y'all won the division, and but what happened after that, man?
Well, no, they lost. They did lose to the Rams, and again, that was a coaching decision. Our problem is our coaching. Jason Garrett just needs to go. I've never liked nice coaches. Well, I like a coach where you don't even want to come to the sideline after you make a mistake.
Well, let me say I would say that is probably true, but here's the problem with that. Jerry Jones is not getting ready to get rid of this guy. He loved this guy. I've been calling the same thing you were saying for the longest. You surprised me this year with the way you played, and your running back obviously is the key to you all's success. But when you look at that coach and the way Jerry Jones feel about him, he's not going to get rid of him.
Well, I agree. We picked up. Remember, we got a couple of trades in the middle of the year. So Amari Cooper came. This year, we got rid of Beasley. We picked up Green Bay. We picked up the second wide receiver from Green Bay. So our wide receiver core is very much intact. And you're getting a veteran like Jason Witten coming back.
Right.
We picked up Randall Cobb.
Okay.
That's a big pickup. I mean, so who are you going to double team at this point? So Jason Witten is back.
Yeah, but he's old, man. How you putting weight on somebody that's old, man?
Listen, you can always say, how does Jason Witten get open? He just finds a way. Well, you want Jason Witten 3rd and 2. He's that producer. You want Jason Witten 3rd and 7.
Right.
We're not talking about stretching the field here. And you always need that veteran in the locker room.
Well, that's certainly necessary there because you got a lot of young guys who seem to be off page at times. I still think Dallas got something to prove. Last year, they slipped up on a lot of people. The key to their success for me was their defense. If the defense can duplicate what they did last year, I think you still got a pretty good chance. But the target is on you now, and you are still in a very difficult division. Even though the Giants are down right now, the Washington team.
What division? The Giants ain't nothing.
Washington
don't have a chance.
I won't say that. You still have Philadelphia there.
Okay, I'll even give you Philadelphia, but you said we still have a tough division. We have one team to beat in the division.
Well, I won't say don't underestimate the Redskins. I mean, they are
They are the Redskins.
Well,
I had a coach last year when Dallas came to Atlanta, and we were talking about that particular ball game. I think the Falcons needed that game to win that game to lock in a spot in the playoffs. And the coach from Dallas was telling me, he said, you guys need this more than we do. He said, we got a weak division. So, I mean, he said, with our division, we can lose this ball game and still make the playoffs. What are you saying about these? You say you don't like the coach? I mean, you guys made the playoffs last year, and according to the division, like you said earlier, you guys are going to be in the Super Bowl again this year. You're going to be in the Super Bowl again. You're going to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Listen, they made the playoffs off the team's willingness to make the playoffs. Okay, the coaching absolutely puts you over. That's like the Patriots. The Patriots can get anybody and play with anyone because their coaching is great and their players are great. We have great players.
Right.
Then it takes a coach to help get you over that hump.
I agree. I always say
that's why I just picked them to go to the Super Bowl. And again, our defense they're very, very good and they're young.
Yeah, they are. That's where your strength lies.
Right.
But you got to duplicate what you did last year.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just going on duplication of last year.
Right.
And I don't see why. Marinelli, the defensive coach, man, he's a great coach.
Right.
He has those guys lined up. So realistically, I'm looking at the same thing. Zeke is going to come back.
Right.
Our wide receiver core is deeper.
Uh-huh.
So there's no way, again, if a coach can get a good offensive coordinator, again, so we don't know what this offensive coordinator is going to do.
Right.
But in hindsight, if the offensive coordinator does what he's supposed to do, hey, you're looking at a couple of big wide receivers. You got Randall Cobb that can take a slant and break it open. You got Amari Cooper that stretches the field. We all seen what he did last year.
Right.
Then you got Jason Witten. Then you have a few young prospects that's going to come on that you can't – you got to pay so much attention to two other wide receivers. Any one of them can make a break.
Yeah, we got to see, again – it's one thing when the target is not on you as it was not last year. No one expected Dallas to do what they did. They got better as the season went on. Now this year they're coming out with a target on them. They're expected to do well. Can this quarterback of yours continue to do what you expect him to do?
Prescott.
You know what I mean?
He's been doing it, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's only getting better.
Yeah, but the big players make big plays in big ball games. I mean, yes. But like we were talking about the Falcons earlier, I mean, Prescott is expected to carry this team in certain points, man. When you guys played against the Rams, man, it was the Rams, right? Am I correct?
Dak didn't lose that game against the Rams.
Who lost it?
The defense. Our linebacker core was hurt. Come on, they're both running backs had like 270 yards. They just ran the ball.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the stats better than I, so I can't argue with what.
I know your Falcons stats too.
Well, good, because I definitely know them.
Let's jump on the Falcons then. I mean, since when it comes to the Falcons, Big Time is pretty knowledgeable and the things that he's really hyped up this year about the Falcons having a good year. The thing you said about the Giants going to the Super Bowl, I mean, I'm sure Big Time is not far from that.
Oh yeah, I feel real good about the Falcons. We've had a great team for a long time.
He's shaking his head.
And listen. Last year, you cannot judge this team fairly without taking into account we had a lot of injuries. You cannot. Now, injuries are not an excuse, but we had.
I give you that.
We had
the
a
defense was very bad. We
still finished 7-9, even though that last two games wasn't as important. But we still competed in all the games that we lost. We could have beat Dallas, even we could have beat Dallas, and you know that.
Yeah.
It came down to the last.
It's defense.
Yes, we could not stop them.
This is the only thing that I have to say about the Falcons in last year. You're subject with the defense, but there were a lot of games your offense did not show up. Where was the Julio Jones and the Matt Ryan of 2 years ago? That didn't exist last year, and I think that plagued you more because it didn't help your defense because y'all were going 3 and out, So it put that suspect defense back on the field.
Well, keep in mind, my friend,
Freeman was hurt. I give you that.
Yeah, we had no running game.
But you still had.
Well, we had no running game. We did not run the ball last year because our running back was gone.
Yeah.
And our
Only one of your running backs were gone.
Well, but still, he was not. You take Ezekiel Elliott out of your offense, and you can put as many backup quality guys in there, and they're not going to be as good as him. And that's the same situation we had with Freeman. You cannot say Coleman was a factor. Coleman is not a guy that can hit the hole. He's an edge runner. You had this other kid we had as a rookie. The Falcons' offense was too loud. Too loud.
How about that?
Too loud. It was cool before.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We getting the back feed.
Yeah. Why we get feedback?
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Testing. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
You get feedback?
Go.
Yeah. So those are the only things that I noticed about the Falcons, and I think Julio Jones did express frustration because they didn't have the explosion year that they had a couple of years ago, and that's the only thing I can say. That you had the injuries, but there wasn't those big plays from Julio Jones, and I get that with Coleman, but I mean that's not a bad situation to have. Freeman going down, but you still have Coleman. He knows the system. He went to the Super Bowl with you guys, so.
Yeah, you're right. But again, you're missing the main piece, and we've missed him, in fact, for the last 2 years, and taking into account that we had an offensive coordinator that was still sort of learning the nuances of really putting his hand on this team, if I can describe it that way. Again, the Falcons should have won more of those close games. I think this year, if this new OC we have do what I think he can do, and Freeman run like he has ran before, I don't see no reason why we can't be a dominant in the NFC.
I mean, we won games last year. I don't have a whole lot of problem. People talk about the Falcons losing last year. I didn't have a whole lot of problem with the offense. A lot of times we were in ball games, like, for example, the Dallas ball game. We had the lead in the last minute or 2 minutes of the ball game. Dallas drove all the way to the left of the field and scored. And I'm like, we couldn't stop anybody.
Yep.
We just couldn't stop people. I mean, there was a Julio Jones. Julio was there. The Falcons put up yards. They put up points on the board. Are you gonna look it up? Okay, that's fine.
I just can't take your word for it.
But okay, that's fine. I mean, I was there. I'm sure you were there too. I'm sure, right? But we lost a lot of games because we couldn't stop teams. I don't think we lost a lot of teams because we didn't put points on the board. I think we scored we averaged about
It's about 23 points per game.
Okay,
and that's enough. That's enough to win the game that we should lost. But our defense gave up an average of 28 points.
Right.
I think we were one of the highest scoring defenses teams against us in the league because we had 3 of our main defensive players, starters, mind you, completely gone for the year.
Safety,
yes.
Linebackers,
yes. It was pathetic, man. With we couldn't. Team was scoring even in the New Orleans game that we lost at home. We would have won that game. We couldn't stop them.
Exactly.
We could have beat Dallas. We couldn't stop them. We should have beat Cincinnati. Couldn't stop them. We could have beat Pittsburgh. Couldn't stop them. You know what I mean?
I think Pittsburgh was the only one we couldn't have beat.
I
think Pittsburgh was the only team we played last year that we really they really blow us out.
Okay, but of all those 9 games that we lost, we could have won at least 6 of those games.
Yes.
With a great defense. And this is one of the main reasons I believe that Dan Quinn became frustrated, even though we were banged up, that we didn't do what we still could have did with the backup guys. Now to change this defensive coordinator and he took the rim, it's a move that's kind of protecting himself. But I think with his ability to coach the defense, he will do a better job this year.
Well, I mean, he's a defensive coach. I mean, he's a defensive coordinator. That's what he came from. He came from Seattle. And, I mean, you know, a head coach is either an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator when they come into the job. That's what he specializes in. I think more of that.
Can we just revisit this for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay. Falcons' first game, 26-13 over the Rams.
Falcons'
second game, 15-10.
Okay, close ball
Eagles. Come on, we're talking about offense that they put up. That's the only thing I'm talking about.
But
I'm not saying you're not competitive. Again, my thing saying last year, it was a few games that offense didn't show up. Okay? The third game, Jets 17, Falcons 0.
Okay.
Are you sure about that? We lost. We didn't score points against the Jets. I think we beat the Jets.
You sure? You looked at that right?
Yeah, we beat the Jets. You made your glasses.
He's online.
Yeah, he need these glasses.
Got his glasses on.
Yeah, we didn't get blown out by the Jets. We beat the Jets.
Let's start here. You're looking 20-23. Y'all put up 13 points against the Falcons. Against the Steelers. You put up 14 points against the Cardinals. The Cardinals. All right?
You can't run the ball.
All right?
You can't run the ball.
Look, you put 7 points up against the Falcons. Against the Jaguars.
They only scored 19?
Okay. 13-7.
Uh-huh.
Okay. With your defense.
Well, it was a good defensive ball game, man. We didn't stop them. If you look at all these games that you're talking about, we're not blowing out on these ball games. We're still in these ball games.
You must be looking at the preseason, my friend.
No, we didn't looking at it.
We didn't play the Jaguars in the regular season. Are you sure? You looking at last year?
That's preseason.
They switched it to 2017. That's even worse. 2 years ago, y'all wasn't even playing.
Oh my goodness! Give me a break. Give me a break, man. You can't call out the wrong stats, man.
Okay, wait.
Read the stats
okay.
right, baby. If you're gonna use
now, I'm in 2018. It's the same thing. Okay, 12 points against the Eagles, the first game, right? This is game 1, right? 12-18. Now y'all put up 31. Y'all won Carolina game.
Okay,
I was that y'all lost to the Saints 43-37.
Okay,
close ball game.
Right,
and look at the points now. You say that we didn't put up.
Right.
Keep going.
17, y'all lost 41-17, and the last touchdown was nothing.
Who's that?
Against who?
The Steelers.
Okay.
That was the game I said we didn't.
Right.
Clearly got beat.
Right. The Giants, y'all only scored 23 points against.
Only? I mean,
the Giants.
That's what I said. Only 23.
Yeah. That's an average.
Wait.
We averaged 23 points a game last year, my friend. You can't say we didn't score.
16 points, 17 points, 16 points, 20 points.
Well, anytime you score 20 points, you scored enough points to win a ball game. Even 15, because that's some low-scoring, high-scoring ball games. Those ball games, the way I
this
saw
is a pat. Wait, y'all. It was 28-3 in the Super Bowl. So obviously, it wasn't enough points to be scored. This is a pass league now, so it's not a hard-nosed defense and we run the ball down your throat. That's not the game anymore.
Frank, if you cannot run the ball, you cannot score.
Wait, okay.
I don't care.
Let me mention one team that's not ever ran the ball and they win Super Bowls.
Who?
The New England Patriots.
They're an exception. You can't use them as an example.
How are you saying I can't use them as an example? You said if you can't run the ball, you can't win games. And I just mentioned a team that win games without running the ball.
They do other things to include cheating. If many would argue, give me a break. You can't use that as a sample.
Oh
man.
my
you
goodness!
Cannot use it as a sample. Anyone?
Oh my goodness! So shall I name Shall I name another person?
Because if you can't,
shall I name another team and another wide receiver, another quarterback?
Frank, let me respond to that. You know good as well as I do. Then you know it as well. If you can't run the ball, all the defensive guys are just gonna play back.
Yeah.
You cannot mix it up. And the Falcons in the last 2 years have not ran the ball like the Falcons can run the ball. The reason the Dallas Cowboys have been decent is since that Ezekiel Elliott came to that team. They can run the ball, and that offensive line has opened holes up for him.
Zeke is the man.
The Falcons' offensive line, and not to use an excuse again as injury, their offensive line had 2 injured players last year. Matt Ryan was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year, which is, again, how bad their offensive line. Yeah. If they run the ball this year, I pick these guys to be in the NFC championship game, maybe against the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what?
I just think we'll be a lot
If Kevin
better.
Durant wasn't hurt, Golden State would have won the championship.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that. I don't think Golden State get a grant. No.
We can get into that, but I was saying that injuries come with sport,
and we understand that.
And I get you on that.
Right.
Again, sometimes I'm a realistic fan.
Uh-huh.
All right. Sometimes Zeke didn't run the ball like that.
Right.
and they still found the way to win games.
When?
Again.
When? It wasn't. You ain't talking about last year. We're talking about the year before.
Last year.
Well, but you still won enough games based on stopping people and kept you in game. You didn't score a lot of points.
Why you can't have it all the ways you want to have it, man. If it's about winning the game, you got to do all of those intangible things to win the game.
What do you think the main reason Dallas was as good as they were last year?
Ezekiel Elliott?
No,
I
think their defense. Their defense.
Yeah.
Their defense was.
But you were saying earlier the defense wasn't
right,
good.
That's what I'm telling you.
No,
and then
their defense was
and then when you went to that fake stat sheet over there, you got shot down with your own stats. You backed off of it, and I'm telling you, the Dallas Cowboys were good last year. And guess what the Dallas Cowboys did? I credit the Dallas Cowboys for
scored 12 points against the Eagles.
Dallas Cowboys took the New Orleans Saints down, and they were never the same again. Yeah. They were never the same again, and I credit them for that.
That was a great game too.
And they showed the league how to beat them.
Exposed them.
Right.
You guys exposed New Orleans,
and that's what they did to the Falcons and did to everybody else. Their offense.
And you don't like your head coach. Look what they did.
You know, and Jerry Jones love him because he does what he want him to do.
He's a puppet.
You know what I mean? And he does make some poor decisions and enter the game, but again, the defense will save you. And I think this is what's going to make the Falcons a better team this year. If we can run that ball and we can play defense like we were playing, we went to the Super Bowl with even a young core, we can be a lot much better team. I'm not fearful of the Cowboys. I'm not fearful of the Saints. And I'm not speaking from just a happy fan. I really believe the Falcons are going to have a great year. I really do. We got a talented ball club, man. We have too much talent on this team not to be better than what we were.
Wait, see, again, I was never shooting them down. I said that with all that talent, they should have won more games. And again, I get you with the defense, but there were a lot of games, as you know, that the Cowboys the Falcons went 3 and out, and they left their defense on the field to be exposed.
Oh, yeah, I do agree with that.
So I'm saying with all the talent you did have, I mean,
Well, there's a lot of.
That's the only thing I'm saying.
And there's a lot of factors that come into play. I agree with that. There were too many 3 and outs, but Matt doesn't keep the chains moving as much as he should. There are a lot of poor decisions that was made by OC over the last 2 years. We brought an OC in here, and I'm not making excuses for the Falcons, but we brought an OC in here that should not have been here. We took a chance with this guy, and he failed us. We went from scoring 28 points a game in the year we went to the Super Bowl down to 10 points. Now, there was an adjustment we had to make, but we never made it to get it back to level. This team have too much talent not to be doing better than they have done in the last 2 years. I again say last year, even though we went to the Super Bowl and we lost the way we did, we came back the next year, we made it to the playoff. And we won the first game in the playoff. We beat the L.A. Rams. This past year, our offense, our defense was depleted by key injuries. And you can't not use that as an excuse, but you can't judge that season fairly without taking that into account. I'm good, man. They'll have me running to the bathroom all the time.
I get that.
You know, I like Dallas' chances, but Dallas again just got to duplicate what they did last year, and it's hard. Once you prove that you are a very good ball club, team be up for you. You get a lot of primetime games. I don't know whether Dallas can do the same as they did last year. They maybe can.
Look, it's definitely not easy to do what you did last year, because if it was easy, and there's no offense, I mean, everybody that made the Super Bowl recently and didn't win, they will all do the same thing. So it's never that easy to get back up to that. I just think this is the first year they made good moves in the offseason to piggyback off what they were doing last year.
Right.
Like in the middle of the year, they got Amari Cooper. So that's what helped their push too. You got to remember, we lost games in the beginning of the season with that defense and with Zeke because everybody, like you said, they dared Dak to throw the ball. They put 8 men in the box to stop Zeke. They dared Dak to throw the ball, and he had no one to throw it to.
Right. What was your record? What was your end-of-year record?
I think 10-6.
Okay. Even as good as your defense was, you still, you didn't have I thought it was a better record than that. but you won the games you
Well,
needed to win.
It's like I said
Dude,
earlier.
we lost a lot of games early.
Yeah, sure
Only
did.
because, like you said, said Zeke didn't have that year because they dared Dak to beat him.
Yeah,
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so once we picked up Amari Cooper,
Yeah.
that's when it kind of made that little run
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it opened up things.
Yeah.
But like I said, with the acquisition of Randall Cobb, I mean that's a big time player.
yeah.
Barring injuries.
He was the guy that was with Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember him. Oh my goodness. Is he not beat up, or he's an older guy? Is he still in his prime?
I don't know if he's necessarily in his prime, but he's still active. He's still a veteran. He still put up numbers with Green Bay, but it was Green Bay's situation was worse, I think, than a lot of people's situation.
Yeah.
The coaching, all of that mess, and actually, Aaron Rodgers back off an injury, never had a running game. And again, that's another team without a running game.
Yeah,
Aaron
man.
Rodgers still put up great numbers.
Right.
And let me tell you, I'm a big fan of Matty Ice.
Yes.
Let's don't,
Are
let's
you
don't
serious?
go there.
Oh my goodness.
I
gotta
well,
stand
yeah,
up. I gotta stand up to that. Oh my goodness. Are you serious,
Don't-
Frank? Oh my goodness.
Frank, don't go there.
Ladies
Don't
and
go
gentlemen,
there.
the man has spoken.
Hey,
I gotta
Okay,
stand up to that.
okay,
this is
Oh,
Mr.
my
okay.
Adams.
Let me
Oh, my
just say
goodness.
one thing. Let me just say one thing.
Uh-oh.
If not Matty Ice, who else are you going to have as a quarterback that's out there? You're dealing with a league with not a lot of great quarterbacks.
Let me ask you a question. Matty Ice, would you consider him as a top 10 quarterback?
Absolutely.
Would you consider him as a top five quarterback?
He has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback.
Would you consider him a better quarterback than your quarterback as Dak Prescott?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You hear me? You hear me?
Oh my God!
Wait.
listen,
Let me say one
where
thing.
are
Let me
you?
say one
Where-
thing. Let me say one thing. When Dak first came into the league, you got to understand that line was built for Tony Romo to protect Tony Romo.
Right.
You put a lot of again, only because Dak Prescott is young. So if you asking me, will I take him in that situation, Matty Ice, to take time back there and to have a Zeke that's
Yeah.
going to open it up?
Tell it.
Absolutely right now. But with the youth of Dak, of course,
Right.
that's what's going on. But you talking about the ideal situation?
Right. And
Yeah.
I have to agree with Frank because of this. The only exception I give
you
to
like Matty Ice.
the only exception I give to Dak over Matt is his ability to be mobile.
Right.
But when you look at a young quarterback, which he still is, we still got to see him prove himself. It's just Matt has proved himself. Matt make bad decisions, but he still is a solid quarterback back there, man. This guy's on the brink of breaking a record this year. Who's the quarterback that used to be for the Denver Broncos?
Peyton Manning,
No.
John Elway.
John Elway. He's on record to break John Elway's record this year. But Matt Ryan.
I mean, you got people like Julio Jones, Sanu, and I mean, you got look what kind of receivers. I mean, I think if Dak had the same kind of, don't get me wrong, I still love my Falcons, but I don't think Dak has the target that Matt has, and having those targets help Matt make him look really good. And you got somebody to throw the ball to, like we were talking about earlier.
Or he made Sanu look better than Sanu is.
Thank you.
You can't really say that. The same thing happened with Chabet with Peyton Manning. No, trying to think. What was Peyton Manning's wide receiver?
At
The tight end guy.
Yeah.
when he was at the coach.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
I can't think of his name. But I know exactly who you're talking about.
even
though.
every
Grunt.
No.
even every wide receiver.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, when he was at the coach.
I can't even think of his name. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you another guy, Wes Welker,
Yeah.
with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, he's this, and this. When he left, non-existent.
Right.
You didn't hear from him no more. And I'm not discrediting that, but sometimes quarterbacks make you look great too.
Yes.
And I'm not saying Sanu is not great because I'll take him on the Cowboys any day.
Right.
Right.
But again, absolutely. A lot of his attitude comes with confidence. You know how much confidence he grew in that Super Bowl season they went through?
Yeah.
He developed that swagger after that he never had before.
Yeah. And as good as Dennis, as good as Julio is, he'll probably do the same thing almost on any team. But if he wasn't with a good quarterback like Matt, he wouldn't look as good in the numbers.
Right.
He wouldn't get the numbers, the yards that he gets.
Right. And then another thing was, Sanu, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is what people got to realize. When you have a talent like Julio Jones, you know how much attention is drawn to him?
Yes.
That second option, you better get open.
Yes, that's right.
Know?
Right. That's what we were talking about earlier, Dennis.
Right,
He got to use these other guys, and I know this guy was going to do this year. The same thing that Shanahan did. I don't think this OC that we had the last 2 years had the ability to do that.
He wasn't. Yeah, he's not good.
And this is where he showed his force at in the red zone.
Right.
We were one of the best offenses in the league, 20-20. Once we get inside the 20-yard line, we fumble. We don't do what we're supposed to do. The decision-making was horrible, and it made a difference. You know what I mean? I just feel real good about it. I mean, I've been critical of the Falcons for years, but if I call it, I believe it, and I think they'll do it this year. I just don't see them taking a step back.
Well, and I agree. You know, like I told you earlier, I got a friend in Vegas right now, and I laid a bet down on the Falcons. I don't know what the odds are with Dallas, but the odds are for the Falcons to win the division is 40-1 odds, and I'll take those odds, and I took those odds, and because I think the Falcons is good enough. The only thing that I think is stopping us from winning our division is New Orleans Saints, and you know, injuries are part of the game. Last year we had a lot of injuries on the offensive line, on the defense as well, and I think I think that affected our ability to be a much better team last year. Now you take the same team, we got some of the same players on offense. Julio's still there, Sanu, Ridley. Now Dan Quinn's taking over defense, and they got some new players in there. I think we're gonna see a different team this year, and I think if you know, and also the running back, what's his name? Freeman is back. So I think, you know, with Freeman, it takes a little pressure off Matt Ryan in the passing game, and I think it's going to make us look, you know.
Let me just say one thing I think they need to add, too. Matt Ryan has to have an attitude. If he's not still pissed off about the collapse from the Super Bowl, he needs to. You need to have that bad taste in your mouth.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's just something about getting over that hump, you know, and it's like they forgot and forgave too fast.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go back to when I was up. That was snatched away from me, and you got to snatch some games away from. That's the only way they're going to win.
Right.
You got to snatch a game. Okay, say you said the Saints is the opposition. You got to snatch a game from the Saints.
Right.
And snatch something for their hearts to where people say, okay, how are we going to contend with these guys? Matt Ryan got some. The way Matt Ryan looked that Super Bowl season, it's almost like Rocky. He needs to go back and get that eye of the tiger from that Super Bowl season.
I agree.
Because he was. Did he win the MVP?
Yes, he did that year.
That's the Matt Ryan you need.
Yes, and I think he's there. He certainly has the capability. Believe it or not, guys, Matt Ryan numbers were better last season than they were the Super Bowl year.
Wow.
The numbers. The man was 79 yards short of 5,000 yards. He had 36 touchdowns. He had only 7 interceptions. The entire season.
But
this on a 79
that's good.
Season.
But with a losing, he didn't make the playoff. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm not a fan of a quarterback or a running back getting all these yards and your team is still losing. I mean, it's like an individual effort. And football is not an individual sport.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I'm the same way. You know what? Stats can tell the truth, but since stats lie.
Yeah, I understand that, but you still highlight the fact that Dennis, he's this type of quarterback is not. You got to get this reassurance from others like Frank and I to feel good. This guy is not the reason the Falcons is not winning.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And when you look at that NFC, there are a lot of tough teams in there. Dallas, New Orleans. You got the Giants, not the Giants, but
you got the Rams coming back.
You got the Rams.
Yeah.
You got the Bears. You got the you got the doggone the Carolina Panthers. You can't forget them. It's a very difficult division to win in. I mean, conference. And when you look at our division, it is always tough, like most divisions.
Right.
But our division has been rated for a long time as one of the toughest in the league. And the Tampa, even though they probably would take a step back this year, you still can't count them out. I just really feel like if your defense can step up, particularly in our division, our defense has to go against 3 of the top quarterbacks in the NFC.
Right.
In Winston, Cam Newton, and Drew Brees. And even though Winston and Cam hasn't did as well over the last couple of years, they still a threat. They can beat you. Now, Cam, I'm thinking this year going to take probably a step back because he had off-season surgery.
Right.
And Winston is in a spiral because of all the off-field stuff, and the team is still trying to, determine whether he can be that guy.
Exactly.
So it's come down to the Falcons and the Saints. And if you're going to sit up here in this seat tonight, as cool as and nice as weather is, you worried that much about a 40-year-old guy, a 40-year-old quarterback that is losing arm strength. And yes, he's in a good offensive system. I'm just not fearful of the Saints. With the defense that we can put on that field.
Wait. Wait. We just going on the record to let them know who said that.
Yes, indeed.
About Drew Brees, because Frizz didn't say that about my man Drew Brees. Just want you to know that.
Well, I understand that, but Drew Brees is not a problem for me. You cannot beat Father Time. And the man is understanding.
Wait.
Big time.
Until proven different, he's beating it and Tom Brady's beating it.
Well, you talk like Drew Brees and won 3 or 4 rings. He's only has 1. And he has one of the best offensive coordinators as a head coach to ever play the game.
No, I'm not talking about. You said he has a weak arm. Right?
The man hadn't thrown a 20-yard pass.
No, Drew Brees don't have a weak arm, man.
Drew Brees have an accurate arm. Drew Brees is not known for arm strength. He doesn't throw the ball deep. He's
accurate. He's very accurate.
That's what his strength is. He's accurate. And that offensive system fit what he is, and the difference is what.
Why can't he fit that offensive system?
Well, the offensive system is built around him, but I say this. The strength of the New Orleans Saints over the last 3 years has been 2 things: their defense improvement, which hasn't been good over the several couple of years, and the offense in that running back.
Right. I agree
that has been the difference of them over the last 3 years. And they do have this receiver now who's Thomas, but they only have 1 receiver.
Right.
You got only 1 receiver in this game. You in many respects are as strong as you think you are, because you can double that 1 receiver.
Well, I hear what you're saying, big time, but you know what?
Yeah, I hear you too.
But Vegas, different what you're saying. Like I said, the Falcons are 41. I'm trying to say this. The odds are 1-41 that the Falcons will win the division. The New Orleans Saints is 1-6.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go. You got to go on what they did last year.
Listen, Drew Brees is a bad.
You can't take nothing from him, man.
He's a bad.
Even though we don't care for him because he's.
I get it.
I never said he wasn't bad. He's one of the greatest guys to play the game. But you talk about numbers and stats. Tell me, besides the stats,
he's the only quarterback and that average over I think 6,000 or 5,600 yards for consecutive seasons.
But you said
stats. I'm just giving you you accurate stats.
But a few minutes, I understand it. But a few minutes ago, you downplayed stats when it would put on Matt Ryan.
No, you asked for stats, so I just gave it to you.
I understand it. I accept that. But don't put those stats up as though he has won as many rings, because that's what it boils down to. The man only has 1
let's
ring.
be realistic. What are we talking about? We need to just end the show and just talk about the Patriots. If you're talking about rings,
well, that's what it boils down to.
Okay, then I agree. But let's just talk about the Patriots. But I get what you're saying, and I'm just paying respect where respect is due,
and I am too.
You know what I say?
Drew Brees.
I say you guys would take Drew Brees tomorrow over Matt Ryan.
I wouldn't.
I would. I say 9 out of 10 Falcons fans would take Drew Brees tomorrow.
Because of what he has done and what they feel they have in him. I would not. Why? And you know why I would not? Age. I'm not talking about Drew Brees got one
for 1 season.
1 season? Give me a break, man. I'm talking about
I'm saying for 1 season, you wouldn't take.
Well, if you want to say for 1 season, I got to see what happens in where he fit in. Can he do this, do that?
I'm saying yes or no.
Would I take him for 1 season? No.
Okay.
when you take into account, we got to fit him in. He got to fit the offense. A lot of things got to fall into play. You looking at what he's done and say in that one season, we know he's still going to do the same thing.
But see, this is okay, and it's just maybe me. It's about four quarterbacks. I feel you can put kind of anywhere, and they're that good. It'd be Tom Brady,
right?
Aaron Rodgers,
right?
Drew Brees,
Russell Wilson,
and I'll probably give you Russell Wilson and Ben.
Right.
Oh no,
Ben
should have retired.
Big Ben's he's about done.
He should have been retired 3 years ago.
Yeah. Wait. He got 2 rings, right? That's what you just said.
Yeah, but he's been in the league. What?
No, he's been in the league less years than Drew Brees.
And then Ben had a lot of problems with the teammates and stuff. That's a lot of internal problems.
Yeah, but wait again. Do we know that stems from Big Ben, or that's an internal problem that even the coach couldn't rectify?
Well, I won't even take that into account. I think when you look at his rings, it's based on the Steelers' system and their ability to run the ball and their defense.
Right.
It hasn't been based on Ben. Ben is just a big target that can get the ball to the receiver. I don't put him in the category with Drew Brees when it comes to
okay, 1 ring maybe, 2 rings. Come on, man.
I think he may have 3.
He has 2.
But the last 2 years they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
But I do get that. But we're talking about rings. You can't. He has 2 now.
Yeah, but we're talking about now. It's a lot of players got rings, but the way I look at it is right now. What's now? What are you going to do this year? What is he going to do this year in the league?
He has nobody.
Right.
Again, if you're really talking, the best running back sat. He sat the whole season.
Yeah.
So you can't say yes on one side and no on the other. He didn't have no running back. Antonio Brown clearly is not happy, and he utilized his other wide receiver.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, that's what went on in that case. But I would really say, you're giving him a hard kind of pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Because he's actually done work and looked good.
Yeah.
But my thing, the big time is, man, Drew Brees, it's a lot of people that would take Drew Brees tomorrow for a game.
And I know, and he probably would too, but he just, the fact that most of Falcons fans
just don't like the Saints.
Just don't like the Saints. That's just the bottom line. Talking about something like that, it's like being in Alabama, and I'm from Alabama originally, and saying that, Auburn, I pull for Auburn as well just because I'm from Alabama. You got to pick one or the other.
Right.
In our division, it's pretty much firm thing.
Yeah, and I do get it. But like I said, I've been watching football for a long, and I love the sport. But when I've watched some games where I've just been spellbound from what I've seen Drew Brees do.
We all have. Drew Brees is a heck of a quarterback, and Sean Payton is just, he's a magician when it comes down to that offense and being able to read defenses. I've been on the sideline. I watch this guy, man. He stands behind the when his offense on the field, he's back watching the opponent's defense. He's standing back there just watching. And I think the way I look at it, I think he runs certain plays just to see if a receiver is going to be picked up.
And you know what, too? That goes and contribute of what type of person Drew Brees is, too. And, again, they've been together for a long time, so, they know each other.
I watched those guys on a Monday night that was talking. I think Sean was talking about something and how well they work together, But if you ever watch Drew Brees and being on the sideline, I see a lot of stuff, and then when I see it on TV, I try to put it together. Drew Brees always standing back. Sean Payton will be on he'll be. I don't know if he's talking directly to Drew Brees before the play starts, or he's talking upstairs, because they'll watch. They got guys upstairs are watching, and he's watching and trying to find out if anybody's going to pick up the certain receiver. If somebody's wide open, I promise you. Now watch this year. I watched it last year. If New Orleans sends a receiver out and somebody's wide open, you use the announcer say, this guy was wide open. Nobody even picked him up. 2 plays later, they come back and hit him.
Yeah,
somebody saw it. Yeah,
I've seen it a couple of times,
and
I've seen it a couple of times where Drew Brees went over to the sideline after a blown play or something, and then next possession, he did a play, and he said, "I told you." So it's stuff that, and see, this is how I feel about what football. And if you're really, really, really good, after halftime, You should be able to know what that defense is doing.
And that's
to you.
what happens. That's what makes a good team
Test-
good
test-
because they go in and they'll make adjustments at halftime. I mean that's why some teams like the New England Patriots. Look what happened when they played us. I mean, when the Super Bowl that loss we had. I mean, they came back. They didn't give up. They came back persistently doing the same thing throughout the whole ball game. And they came out and and they was persistent. They didn't stop. We made some mistakes and start trying to throw the ball instead of run the ball, trying to run the clock out. And you see what happened. You back big time?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, baby.
We were just talking about how good teams are, how they make big plays, how they go. Like for example, how Sean Payton goes in and he's able to read defenses and they make adjustments. Even in the first half to the second half of the ball game, a lot of times teams come out with a game plan, and it's particularly a certain game plan for the game. But when things happen, some teams will go into halftime. They'll see things. They make adjustments on the fly. What I call on the fly.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And good teams do make good adjustments during the halftime.
We've talked
Enemy.
We've talked strong here for a minute, guys. I'm gonna give you guys a break, and we're gonna take a break right here, and I'm gonna come back with part 2 in just a minute. This is Frank to my left, Big Time to my right. This is the Mic is Hot. I'm DJ Thomas. We're right here on 4th of July evening, enjoying the music. I'm sure you guys hear the music in the background. It's a hot topic. We're about 3 weeks away from training camp, and football is in the air, folks. And Frank, we'll talk to you soon, babe.
We'll be back.
Big Time. We're gonna take a break. The Mic is Hot. Stand by.